It's been another big day for AMD stock, and investors are starting to take notice in a serious way. On Wednesday, AMD shares finished the regular session up by a strong 5.37%, closing at $184.34. This move not only outperformed the broader market but also put AMD back into the spotlight as one of the most closely watched names in the semiconductor and AI sectors. The rally comes on the heels of several important developments, some that are directly tied to AMD's product and strategy, and others that are about the competitive landscape shifting in AMD's favor. Let's break down what's driving this surge, how it fits into the bigger picture, and what could come next for the stock. First off, one of the biggest headlines fueling sentiment right now is the clarity we're finally getting around China export restrictions on advanced AI chips. According to reports, AMD has struck a deal to pay a 15% fee on AI chip sales to China in order to secure export licenses. This might sound like a concession, but in reality it's a huge win for AMD because it opens up access to a critical and massive market that many feared could be effectively off-limits. With China accounting for a significant slice of global AI infrastructure demand, the ability to sell into that market, even at a reduced margin, is strategically invaluable. Secondly, there's the competitive angle. Rumors and industry chatter suggest that Nvidia's highly anticipated Rubin AI chip could be facing delays. Now, while we don't have an official confirmation from Nvidia, the perception alone is enough to shift some momentum toward AMD. Why? Because in the high-stakes AI arms race, timing is everything. If AMD can hit the market with its MI450 accelerators and Helios platform before Nvidia's next-gen products are ready, it could secure valuable design wins and partnerships that stick for years. And AMD's MI450 is no slouch. We're talking about a data center-class AI accelerator with a massive 432 GB of next-generation HBM4 memory, specifically built for rack-scale AI workloads. This isn't just about competing with Nvidia's CUDA ecosystem. AMD has been building out its ROCm software stack, which is increasingly being influenced by industry heavyweights like OpenAI. That kind of ecosystem growth could be a game-changer for adoption. Of course, we can't overlook the macro backdrop. Wednesday's session saw renewed strength in the Nasdaq, partly driven by softer-than-expected inflation data that's boosting risk appetite. Growth and tech stocks in particular tend to benefit when investors start to believe that rate cuts are on the horizon. So, AMD's big day wasn't happening in a vacuum. It was happening in a market environment that's increasingly friendly toward high-growth, high-valuation names. So where does all of this leave us heading into the rest of the week and beyond? Well, from a technical perspective, the breakout above recent resistance levels is a big deal. Volume was higher than average, which suggests strong conviction behind the move. If AMD can hold above the $180-182 range, that could set the stage for a run toward the psychological $190 mark and eventually challenge the $200 level. From a fundamental standpoint, investors are clearly positioning ahead of what could be a series of catalysts, potential new product announcements, updates on MI450 adoption, and of course, any news related to Nvidia's timeline. And while the export fee to China will impact margins, the market seems to be viewing it as an acceptable trade-off for access to a huge addressable market. Now, I want to be clear. While the tone here is bullish, there are still risks. The AI chip market is brutally competitive, and Nvidia isn't going to sit still. There's also the broader economic picture to consider. If the macro turns south or if rate cut expectations fade, that could put pressure on high multiple stocks like AMD. But for now, the narrative is stacked in AMD's favor. And perhaps the most important takeaway from Wednesday's move is that AMD is showing it can generate momentum without having to rely solely on quarterly earnings beats. That's a sign of a company that's being recognized for its strategic position in one of the most important technology races of our time. So, in summary, Wednesday's 5.37% surge to $184.34 is about more than just a good day in the market. It's the result of regulatory clarity, a potential opening against a major competitor, and a product roadmap that's starting to turn heads. For long-term investors, it's a reminder that AMD's story is far from over. For traders, it's a breakout worth watching closely. Whether we see a quick run to $190 or a period of consolidation first, one thing's for sure, AMD is back in the headlines, and the conversation around its role in the AI future just got a whole lot louder.